LiNTO Beauty is a professional brand of premium quality cosmetics and gel polishes. With production lines in Latvia, EU, and representative offices all over the world. The brand was founded in 2016 and has established itself as the manufacturer of safe hypoallergenic materials. Today, I will tell you about the brand's products in more detail, including their features and how to work with them to get the best result. We will also touch on some aspects of the production and chemistry of materials. At the moment, the brand's assortment offers base and top coats, hard materials, gels and acrylic gels, pigmented gel polishes. There is a separate range of products for pedicure, and a specially designed line of products for thin coatings in manicure. We will discuss the properties and features of each material in order. But first, I would like to analyze with you the chemical structure of both natural nails and artificial materials to give you a better understanding of how they interact with each other. Many people know that the nail plate consists almost entirely of keratin and also contains lipids, water, and microelements such as calcium, phosphorus, selenium, chromium, zinc, and sulfur. The nail plate has three main layers: the dorsal layer, the upper layer, the intermediate layer, and the lower layer. Our coating is well maintained only on the dorsal layer of the nail plate. If the nails are, for example, overfiled, then the coating is already harder to keep because the dorsal layer is damaged. Also, there are protein bonds in the nail plate. They give the natural nail density and strength, but they can undergo changes in contact with strong chelates and acids. For example, if you clean a bathtub with a chelating agent without wearing gloves, you can notice that your nails have become softer. The same happens when the coating is affected by acids. If you use highly acidic materials without protecting your hands and nails, after some time your nails will become soft. The coating on such nails will be worse too. Let's look at the components of the materials in more detail to understand what affects adhesion. Is acid so important in the composition? And what can affect nail thinning? To do this, we will start with the EU regulations and production standards, using the LiNTO Beauty brand as an example. LiNTO materials have European CPNP notification. CPNP, Cosmetic Product Notification Portal, is the official European notification portal where the product is registered before entering the European market. This slide shows a screen from the CPNP portal. Before registering on the portal, the product is checked for compliance with the regulations on material composition and labeling, EU Regulation 12/2009 on the safety of cosmetic products. Europe has the strictest cosmetic standards, so obtaining CPNP notification indicates that the product has passed all tests and complies with the EU cosmetic standards. We also have standards for manufacturing, ISO standards. There are two main standards. The first standard is ISO 9001 Quality Management Standard. This is more of an administrative standard. It can apply to any type of production. Implementing ISO 9001 means your organization has put in place effective processes and trained staff to deliver flawless products or services time after time. That is, the company's leaders do financial planning and build business processes in such a way so as to maintain quality. The second standard is ISO 22716, the international standard for the Good Manufacturing Practices (GMP) for cosmetics. It is aimed at cosmetic production only. ISO 22716 provides guidance to documenting and regulating the production, control, storage, and shipment of cosmetic products. It includes aspects such as how to hire employees, what they should know, what they should wear so that their life and health are not threatened, what machines should be used at the plant, how to run maintenance of these machines, and also what quality of raw materials should be used to create cosmetic products, or what type of purification should be performed on the components of cosmetic products before including them into the formula. There are three types of purification in general: technical, cosmetic, and medical. Components after technical purification are used to create, for example, wall paint, technical glue, or automotive paint. Components after cosmetic purification are used to create gel and gel polish products. Components after medical purification are used to create dental floss, contact lenses, joint prostheses, or capsule shells, for example. But the first thing we need to understand is what these components are made of. I think most of you have heard about acryl methacrylate. So, we have two main acids based on which components for nail materials are produced. These are acrylic and methacrylic acids. Acrylic acid has a smaller molecule and, accordingly, penetrates the body faster. It is more reactive, reacts faster, and can cause the reaction of the body faster. Components based on acrylic acid will have acrylate in their names. For example, hydroxypropyl acrylate. Methacrylic acid has a larger molecule and, accordingly, penetrates the body slower. It is less reactive, reacts more slowly, and is less likely to cause the reaction of the body. Components based on methacrylic acid will have methacrylate in their names. For example, hydroxypropyl methacrylate. To make it clearer, I will explain the purification process using the example of acryl methacrylate. If we take acryl methacrylate in its original form, it will have a brownish shade, a very sharp smell. It will be quite acidic and toxic. This is technical purification. This form of acryl methacrylate is used in production of wall paint, automotive paint, technical glue, and so on. If acryl methacrylate is purified for 5 to 7 days, it becomes quite transparent, not so toxic, not so acidic, and this is called cosmetic purification. In this case, acryl methacrylate and its derivatives can be used to create gels, gel polishes, base coats, top coats, and so on. If acryl methacrylate is purified for up to 2 weeks, this is already called medical purification. In this form, it and its derivatives are used to create dental fillings, contact lenses, joint prostheses, and capsule shells. In other words, they can be fully used in medicine. Let me remind you that standard ISO 22716 speaks specifically about cosmetic purification, so LiNTO materials are certified to come into contact with the human body. Let's go back to the components of nail materials. The components of gel materials are acid-based. They can have different properties and be responsible for different functions in the material, such as adhesion, stiffness, plasticity, and so on. The acid itself is not responsible in the material for adhesion. It allows the material to penetrate deeper into the layer of the nail, but it is the adhesion components that affect the adhesion process. As for the materials themselves, let's start with base coats for manicure. Here you can see base frame and base legend. Let's discuss each of them in more detail. Base frame is a frame base. It has a neutral pH of 6.7, but at the same time it provides a high degree of adhesion. This base coat is soft and pliable and will serve perfectly as a substrate, including under gel. When leveled, it becomes harder but remains quite pliable. It is based on our new formula and contains several film formers in the composition. This base coat performed well even after using low acid and acid base coats. Therefore, it can be used as a substrate for transition from acidic materials to neutral ones. To a greater extent, base frame is used as a universal substrate. With it, you can do nail plate alignment, but only on a short length, since when leveled, the base coat remains quite pliable. If you are using base frame as a standalone base coat, both as a base and for alignment, it is applied in 2 stages. First a thin layer, then curing with the lamp, then we perform a leveling layer. In general, there are 2 options for the transition from acidic to neutral materials. First, we prepare the nail plate. With a buffer or a file, we make the nail plate matte and lift the scales of the natural nail. Then we degrease. If the nails are affected by hyperhidrosis or wet, we additionally apply dehydrator. Next, on the free edge and the stress area with a semi-dry brush, we apply non-acid primer. Next, in a thin layer, we apply base frame. Cure with the lamp and level to strengthen with base legend or repair gel, depending on what is more comfortable for you to use. Some people prefer to work with base coats, while others work only with gels, for example. In the second option, we prepare the nail plate just like in the first option. With a buffer or a file, we make the nail plate matte and lift the scales of the natural nail. Then we degrease the nail plate. If you have any acid base coats left, use them similarly to non-acid primer. Apply a thin layer to the free edge and stress area, then cure with the lamp. Next, we perform leveling strengthening with base legend or repair gel, like in option 1. The transition from acidic to neutral materials takes about 3 to 4 months. For someone, it takes a little less, for others, a little more, depending on the quality of the nail plate. Base Legend is a universal base coat. It was designed for both normal and problematic nails. The base coat has a neutral pH of 6.5. In a thin layer, it's soft and pliable. It can act as a substrate for normal and problematic nails, but it does not fit as a substrate after using acidic materials. When leveled, it will become more rigid, similar to a gel. Does not shrink on the free edge, which makes the base suitable for strengthening long nails. If you are using Base Legend as a standalone base coat, both as a substrate and for alignment, then it is applied in 2 stages. First, a thin layer, then we cure with the lamp, then we perform a leveling layer. If you have previously used low acid or acid materials, then it is necessary to make a transition to neutral materials. Most of the time, Base Legend is used for alignment. The camouflage base coats were created as independent base coats, which means they do not need any additional base coat as a substrate, provided you do not need to make a transition from acid to neutral materials. These base coats have a neutral pH of 6.5. The pigment in their composition is of ultra-fine grinding. The camouflage base coats have good covering capacity and at the same time, a high degree of polymerization. If you use the camouflaging bases as independent coating, without a transparent base coat as a substrate, then they should be applied in 2 stages. First in a thin layer, then we cure with the lamp, then we perform a leveling layer. As the leveling layer, the bases are quite rigid and do not give a shrinkage. If before this you used low acid or acid materials, then you need to make a transition to neutral materials. Next, let's have a look at the hard materials. The first product to appear in the range of hard materials was Repair Gel Clear. Repair Gel is a hard gel. Initially, it was released in a bottle of 15 ml. It has a thick consistency, but at the same time, self-levels quickly enough and does not spread. In other words, it can keep its shape. Repair Gel was created to strengthen, extend, or repair nails, as it is also suitable for nail modeling. We released it in a bottle of 30 ml. It can be applied in 2 ways. First, if the nail plate is in normal condition, we perform the standard preparation of the nail plate. I'll go over it again. With a buffer or a file, we make the nail plate matte. We lift the scales of the natural nail and degrease. If the nails are affected by hyperhidrosis or wet, we additionally apply dehydrator. Then, on the free edge and the stress area of the nail plate, with a semi-dry brush, we apply non-acid prime. When the preparation is over, we apply a thin layer of repair gel and cure with the lamp. Then we perform a leveling layer. But in this technique, you need to either extend the free edge or file the nail plate from the inside. For the second option, we also follow the standard nail plate preparation, which I described earlier. Then apply a thin layer of base coat. Depending on the state of the nail plate, it can be either Base Legend or base frame, and cure with the lamp. Then we do the alignment with Repair Gel. Repair Gel Color is a hard gel of a medium-thick consistency. It self-levels quite quickly. Practically does not bubble. Even if bubbles appear, they quickly go away. The gel is easy to file, but at the same time, it's hard enough for comfortable wear. Suitable for both nail strengthening and nail modeling, including arched nail modeling. If the lamp is 48W or higher, it's the 10th second of curing when you should make the gel grip the nail in the desirable shape. After this, the gel does not unclench either during the subsequent nail modeling or within the period of wear. As for the applying techniques, there are 2 options. First, if the nail plate is in normal condition, we perform the standard preparation of the nail plate. If the nails are affected by hyperhidrosis or wet, we apply dehydrator. Next, to the free edge and the stress area of the nail plate. With a semi-dry brush, we apply non-acid primer. Only after that, we apply a thin layer of Repair Gel Clear, cure with the lamp, and then perform a leveling layer with Repair Gel Color. But in this technique, you either need to extend the free edge or file the nail plate from the inside. In the second option, we also perform the standard preparation of the nail plate, then apply a thin layer of base frame, cure with a lamp, and then perform a leveling layer with Repair Gel Color. Acryl Gel was released along with Repair Gel Color. Acryl GL is a universal material for modeling, designing, strengthening, and restoring nails. The gel is easy to file, but it's durable during wear. Fine-grained, it has a homogeneous consistency, due to which it is optimal for working on one finger at a time, because when in contact with the nail plate, it can heat up and become more liquid. The gel is suitable for arched nail modeling. When pressed, it does not crack and does not whiten. As for the recommendations for use, you also perform the standard nail plate preparation. If the nails are affected with hyperhidrosis or wet, we additionally apply dehydrator, then to the free edge and the stress area. With a semi-dry brush, we apply non-acid primer, then apply a thin layer of base frame and cure with the lamp. After that, we apply acryl gel. Next, we will look at the top coats by LiNTO. The first one is Repair Top. It is a glossy top without a sticky layer. It is suitable for hard materials as well as for gel polish systems. Repair Top has a medium-thick consistency and lasting glossy shine. The top has no residual stickiness and at the same time it is flexible. It bends but doesn't break. Suitable for covering both dark and light shades. We recommend using this top only on fingernails and not in pedicure, as it can still cause additional pressure on the nail plate. The next top coat is Top Gloss. This is a glossy top without a sticky layer with a wet effect. The top does not modify the color of the coating, has a medium-thick consistency, due to which it is suitable for overlapping designs such as stamping or sliders. Next, we move on to the pedicure range. Poto line includes a base coat and a top coat. Poto base and Poto top were specially created to use on toenails in pedicure, so they do not create additional volume or pressure on the nail plate. Besides, they are applied in a thin layer, as thin as possible. Poto base has a liquid consistency and a neutral pH of 6.7, and at the same time it keeps its adhesive properties. It is soft and pliable. Poto base should be applied to the nail plate in a thin layer without rubbing. If you try rubbing, then the brush may absorb most of the material and there will be not enough material left on the nail plate, which can affect the grip. Poto top is a top coat without a sticky layer, but at the same time it remains quite flexible. Thanks to its liquid consistency, Poto top allows you to make the coating as thin as possible. Of course, in the line of LiNTO materials, there are pigmented gel polishes, gel polish. The gel polishes have a buttery consistency. Due to the unique formula, they self-level quickly and do not spread. They are designed to be single-layer because they have high covering capacity. You can apply them both in a single layer and in 2 thin layers, depending on the technique you use. In addition to the main collection of shades, there are nude collections. They are considered exclusive nude shades, since they have additional properties that differ from the properties of the main collection. The first collection of nude shades is French collection. It is specially created for the variations of a French manicure. The shades differ in their covering capacities, since some people like to have their smile line more subdued while others prefer the opposite. The next collection is White collection. These gel polishes have a white base with the addition of pigment, due to which the shades turn out a little whitish. One of the shades in this collection is Pure White. It was created specifically for white French designs. And the last collection is the Over the Nude collection. These gel polishes have a glass-like effect, that is, when they are applied to the nail plate, the nails turn out to be glass-like, similar to caramel. LiNTO collections are constantly updated with new shades. When seasonal collections come out, some of the shades may later enter the main collection of gel polishes. There are also limited collections that are released in limited numbers. We keep expanding our range of shades to match the trends and requests of our customers. And now let's move on to the unique line of thin coatings for manicure, Hand Line. Supporting innovation in the world of fashion and for the convenience of nail masters and customers, we launched a completely new professional line, MWMTM, or manicure without manicure. Handline is a professional 3-step set for a thin and natural coating. The set includes hand bonder, it's an acid-free primer, hand base, and hand top. The material is designed for a thin, natural, weightless coating. All products have a semicircular, soft extended brush for faster work and thin coating techniques. As for the recommendations for use, we also first perform the standard preparation of the nail plate, which means we buff and degrease if necessary, additionally use dehydrator. Next, to the free edge and the stress areas with a semi-dry brush, we apply hand bonder. Next, apply a thin layer of hand base and cure with the lamp. If you need to make additional strengthening, but at the same time you want to keep the coating thin, you can apply another layer of hand base and cure with the lamp. Then we apply the desired shade, cure with the lamp, and cover with hand top. After curing the top coat, you need to file the end of the nail plate to prevent chipping of the coating, since the ends are most susceptible to mechanical stress. Finally, I would like to discuss with you the most frequently asked questions that can affect your work with nail materials. How to check if the lamp cures properly. In order to check the lamp, please put a drop of camouflaging gel or camouflaging base in a leveling layer on a polypalette or a waterproof sheet for manicure and cure it for the required time with the lamp to see if the backside of the material remains liquid. If everything is dry or a little wet, the lamp is fine. If the backside of the material is a puddle, then the lamp does not cure well. What is the best degreaser to use? We advise you to pay attention to the composition of the degreaser, because some manufacturers add moisturizing components or acetone to their compositions, which can also provoke peeling. The normal degreaser contains alcohol and water in its composition. This can be propyl alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, aqua, or just isopropyl alcohol and aqua. You can also use ready-made alcohol 70%, either medical or cosmetic. What affects adhesion? The word adhesion itself means the bonding that occurs when the surface layers of two dissimilar bodies come into contact. In our case, the nail and the material. There is chemical adhesion and mechanical adhesion. Mechanical is achieved by lifting the scales of the nail plate when you use a file or buffer. Chemical adhesion is achieved with the help of adhesive components in the composition of the material, which means they are able to stick to the nail scales, filling the space between them. Does acid affect adhesion? The acid in the composition, or acidic environment, destroys the protein bonds in the nail plate so that the material can penetrate deeper. If the acidity of the material is high, this penetration can lead to deterioration of the nail and subsequently to allergic reactions. If you classify nail materials according to their pH levels, then materials with pH from 6 to 7 will be neutral materials, from 5 to 6, low acid, and from 0 to 5, acid. What is the difference between a degreaser and a dehydrator? A degreaser contains alcohols and water in its composition. It does not remove moisture from the surface of the nail plate. It only removes the effusion that the nail plate produces. A dehydrator does not contain water, only alcohols and acetates. Alcohols, as we said earlier, remove the effusion, and acetates are components that are made on the basis of alcohol and acetic acid. They are dissolvers. They remove excess moisture from the surface of the nail plate. To a greater extent, dehydrators are used in case of hyperhidrosis, excessive moisture of the skin and nails, and also if the nail master or client lives in a wet climate. Why does it burn in the lamp? The polymerization process is a process that generates heat. Even if the client does not feel any burning sensation, the heat is still present. The intensity of the burning sensation is affected by the formula of the material as a whole. That is, not just the number of photoinitiators, components that are responsible for the start and flow of the polymerization process, but also the number of other components and how quickly they enter the reaction. Also, of great importance is the state of the nail plate, the individual sensitivity of the person, as well as taking pills, hormonal changes, and so on. In other words, the general state of the body. Earlier, when there were no techniques for leveling with base coats, in courses on nail modeling, they taught nail masters how to use the basic safety technique when curing with a lamp after applying a leveling architectural layer. This safety technique is quite simple. The first 10 seconds, we cure the hand with the lamp for 1 second at a time. Not 2 seconds, not 3 seconds, exactly 1 second at a time, with interruptions after every second. After that, we cure the hand for the full curing time required. If you start curing for the full required time straight away, the photo initiator works on the entire surface of the nail plate, so the heat release is very large. When curing with interruptions of the process, the photo initiator works more pointwise, so the heat release is less.